Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ringside Cinema. I am Money Mike, and today we are going to go over my predictions for who I think will win King and Queen of the Ring as the tournament is underway. And yes, the finals will be taking place at Night of Champions, which makes me wonder why didn't they just name the show King of the Ring or King and Queen of the Ring? But we got to talk about Monday Night Raw because a lot happened on that show, and it doesn't change who I think is going to win King of the Ring, but I think it only means that we got the less interesting story in terms of what we might see at SummerSlam. So we had the world title match. WWE's been hyping this up for weeks now. The WrestleMania rematch, Gunther versus Jay. And for some people thought, there's no way they'd have Jay drop the title. Oh, Seth Rollins just got the briefcase. Maybe Seth will attempt to cash in. But it was kind of lackluster. I honestly, I thought the match was fine. I thought the match was great. I think you could even say it was they did some things here in the match on Raw that honestly, and I say this as someone who was at WrestleMania, I think that some of the stuff they did on Raw was what was missing from their WrestleMania match. And just to have Gunther straight up win, there's no interference, no Seth Rollins attempted cash in. I was fully expecting Seth to try to cash in, which would then distract Gunther enough for Jay to sneak away with the win. And then maybe Seth would try to cash in on Jay, and then we would get Sammy or Roman. Because, I'll get to CM Punk here in a minute, because he seems pretty busy doing other things at the moment. But I thought, maybe Roman or Sammy would have came out to then prevent Seth from cashing in on Jay. So they could have at least started the tease of Seth cashing in. But it was just kind of straight up Gunther winning and then Jay's title reign ending. There wasn't... I know they've been hyping up the match, but it felt kind of anticlimactic in a way, because I feel like there was more to do with Jay as world champion. There was more stories with Jay as world champion that they could have explored. And I'll get into that more when I tell you who I think will win King of the Ring. We also got to talk about CM Punk, John Cena, Night of Champions. They're running it back, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, we all wanted CM Punk, John Cena at Money in the Bank because of Money in the Bank 2011. But instead, the WWE is giving us a rerun of Night of Champions 2012. Because Night of Champions 2025, we will see CM Punk face John Cena. And yes, it is a Saudi Arabia show. Yes, CM Punk is doing a Saudi show. And look, I've already seen the comments online this morning. Fans are already flipping on him. They're flipping on Punk. How dare he say all these things about Saudi and then go and do a show there? They're already upset at Punk. They've already flipped on him. This is why CM Punk should have been the one to turn heel and sell his soul to The Rock. Because at least from that perspective, CM Punk doing the Saudi show at least would have made more sense from a kayfabe perspective. Just from a character standpoint, CM Punk selling his soul to The Rock and then saying, hey, I want to do a Saudi show because, hey, I'm here for the money and they're paying me a lot of money. Having the character CM Punk flip I mean, that would have made a lot more sense to me. I think that would have fit right in with him doing the Saudi show. And so I'm curious to see kind of what happens, because Seth Rollins did come out at the end of their promo holding up that briefcase. And I said it before. I said in my predictions video. I said Seth Rollins is not going to cash in on Jay, which clearly he's not going to cash in on Gunther either. I said from the beginning in my predictions video, Seth Rollins is going to cash in on Cody Rhodes after Cody takes the championship back from John Cena, and I am sticking to that. Because I could see him trying to cash in during this John Cena CM Punk match. And then who shows up? Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns prevents Rollins from cashing in. And amongst all the chaos, John Cena is going to somehow escape with the championship. And we're going to start with the Queen of the Ring tournament here, as we had Rhea Ripley, Kairi Sane, Liv Morgan, and Roxanne Perez in a fatal four-way to determine who moves on. And in a fantastic match by these ladies, all four of these women here, I think realistically in a standard regular tournament like the ones we usually get for the King, Queen of the Ring, I think could have easily been, all four of these could have easily been in the tournament, 100%, in a standard, normal King, Queen of the Ring tournament format. So the fact that only one of them gets to go, I don't know, it's a tough decision, ain't it? But a fantastic match. We saw, it looked like, after Raquel Rodriguez got involved, that took Rhea Ripley out of the equation. It seemed like Kairi Sane was going to win, but then Roxanne took advantage, rolled up Kairi after she hit the insane elbow on Liv Morgan. 1, 2, 3, Roxanne advances, and she will face the winner of the fatal four-way match between Jade Cargill, Michin, Piper Niven, and Nia Jax. To me, I think that's Jade Cargill who will win that fatal four-way match, and we will get Jade versus Roxanne in the semifinals. Then we move to the other side of the bracket here. Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green, and Candice LeRae. I'm going to go Charlotte Flair here. I think it's clear and obvious what direction they're going in for the finals. So I think Charlotte Flair is going to get the win here. And then you have the final fatal four-way match from Monday Night Raw. Asuka making her return, which, they revealed the bracket showing that she was in the tournament. She was making her return before they showed the hype package for her returning. A little bit of blunder there, production team. But you have Asuka, Stephanie McCurry, Raquel Rodriguez, and Ivy Nile in this fatal four-way. Man. Do you bring Asuka back just to lose? Or do you give it to the newcomer and Stephanie McCurry? Because this is where I'm fighting between them two, because I think based off the segment we got with Liv Morgan and Nikki Bella, I think it's clear that we're going to get a women's tag team title match with the Bella Twins versus Liv and Raquel at Evolution. So I don't think Raquel is going to win this match. So I think ultimately the Battle of the Devil Kisses. I think Charlotte wins her match. Stephanie McCurry will win her match. And so on the other side of the bracket, we'll have the Battle of the Devil Kisses between Charlotte and Stephanie, while the other side will have Jade and Roxanne. And I have Jade Cargill advancing to the finals, and unfortunately Charlotte Flair Even though I would like to see this be Stephanie, I think it's going to be Charlotte Flair who advances to the finals, and we're going to get Jade Cargill versus Charlotte Flair in the finals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. And at that point, Jade Cargill is going to win the match, and she is going to be your Queen of the Ring for 2025. And yes, that does perfectly set up a Naomi cash in on Jade at SummerSlam or at some point during Jade's title run. Let's move to the men's side. King of the Ring, Sami Zayn's already moved on, but he will face the winner of a Fatal 4-Way match on SmackDown with Randy Orton, LA Knight, Aleister Black, and Carmelo Hayes. And yeah, I'm going to have Randy Orton win here. I would have said LA Knight, but after what we saw on Monday Night Raw, where LA Knight came out and cost Braun Breaker, I think we're going to see Braun repay that favor, and LA Knight will not win this match. Now, you got Aleister Black, Carmelo Hayes, and The Miz. They're kind of all feuding, so that cancels each other out. And Randy Orton needs a win to rebound from his loss against John Cena at Backlash. So we're going to get Randy Orton winning this match to go on to take on Sami Zayn. Now, I do think from that match, Sami Zayn and Randy Orton, Sami Zayn will win. And the reason I say that is because the story they are trying to tell with Sami is that he can't be a world champion. Is that people have this doubt that he can be a world champion. And so, by having him beat a former world champion in Randy Orton to make it to the finals of the King of the Ring tournament is only going to play more into that story of, hey, he beat a former world champion. So, that is going to play into the story, I think. Now, let's flip it to the other side. Because you got a Fatal 4-Way match. You got Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, Andrade, and Nakamura. Honestly, that's Cody Rhodes 1,000% of the way. And then you got the other bracket, which has, or the other Fatal 4-Way match that has a mystery opponent that has not been added to the match. Now, could it be Jey Uso? Could it be Ron Killings, who had a great promo on Monday Night Raw? You guys can go check that out if you did not see that yet. Or could it be, Gunther got the world title back? Could it be Ilja Dragunov? That would be an interesting one because people have been wanting that matchup between him and Gunther. And if he's back from his injury sooner than expected, having him come back, win the tournament to go on face Gunther at SummerSlam, that's not a bad idea. But either way, I don't see the mystery person, whoever that is, winning. Unless it's actually a really big name. But I think for me, I think that mystery opponent does actually, well, he does win, but he doesn't win the whole tournament. And that person will go on to face Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes will then advance to the finals. And yes, it's a face versus face matchup. But the idea of Sami Zayn kind of having Karrion Kross down his neck about how he's a bad guy and, Karrion playing these mind games with him, I think they can lean more into that. Especially in a face versus face matchup against Cody Rhodes. Something that I'll get into here in a minute, but for me, I think you could play more into that, and there's more doubts about who, or about can Sami win the big one? Can he win when it counts, right? So Sami, Cody Rhodes, who wins? Honestly, Sami Zayn. Because to me, the story is going to be Sami Zayn getting to the world title. That's the story that I think Triple H is going to tell over the next year. I don't think Sammy is going to win the King of the Ring tournament and then go on to beat Gunther at SummerSlam. I think they're going to tell this story of overtime to where maybe we see Sami Zayn go back to Saudi in January and win the Rumble, and then go on to face whoever the world champion is to then become the champion at WrestleMania next year. So I think, whether they want to play the long game, I think there's a long game with Sami Zayn. It's not going to end with Sami winning a SummerSlam. I think it's going to end with Sami winning the world title at WrestleMania next year. But I think they really, really messed up in terms of the matchup, because Sami versus Gunther again, why? Like I said, with the Sami versus Cody, with Karrion Kross doing what he's doing, you know how much story that they've taken away by not having Sami versus Jay at SummerSlam as a potential, and that's the path they want to go. Like Sami versus Jay with the twist of Karrion Kross in the background, getting into Sami's head. Maybe he even messes with Jay along the way. It's one of those things where there was so much story there. Is Sami going to do the right thing? Is he going to stoop to that level against one of his closest friends in Jey Uso? There was so much more story there to tell. Especially if the plan is for Sami Zayn to win the tournament, then why are we throwing that story away just to do a rehash of Sami versus Gunther? That to me doesn't make any sense. But yeah, to me, Sami Zayn, Jade Cargill are going to be your king and queen of the ring in 2025. Let me know in the comments below, who do you guys think will be king and queen in the ring this year? What did you guys think of John Cena's CM Punk segment? Do you think Seth Rollins will attempt to cash in at Night of Champions? Will he wait? Who knows? As always, I've been your host, Money Mike, and you've been watching Ringside Cinema.